Hey, we're live on YouTube now. The podcast has started. Who's hosting tonight? This is now part of the episode to push you forward.
Well, you didn't have to go live on YouTube.
Well, I did in order to get you moving.
I was joking when I said that I was. Oh, whoops! I clicked the wrong show notes.
Yeah, this is episode 99. Hey, welcome to Sonic Talk 99. I'm hosting apparently. Hi.
Yeah, go ahead and host.
I'm glad, considering that I've already started. Hey, this is Sonic Stadium's monthly Sonic News discussion show. Our 99th one, if you include some ones that were over on a different website as well.
A bunch of ones, yeah.
A bunch of ones. I am your host, GX, aka the Spin Dash, aka Chris. You can call me any of the things, and I respond to all of them. We also have got Nuckles87, aka Alex. How you doing, Alex?
Hello, I am doing very good.
And we've got.
And I'm looking forward to a slightly less busy show this month.
Because it ain't gonna be next month.
Nope.
Nope. And Shigmadoo, aka Shigs, aka Jason. How you doing, Jason?
Doing all right, doing good. 99 podcasts on the internet, 99 podcasts on the internet.
Shigs, this was your one chance to do that. And, that was the most half-hearted attempt you could have possibly managed.
So what if one of our podcasts happened to fall? Then what?
That'd be 98, I guess.
Man, so what? I guess gets the lead forever? Is that what that means? Just lost?
I assume.
I dare you to try to find all 99. It's probably going to be a tall task.
I assume the best way to make a podcast fall would be to have it dive off the edge of some sort of sky island.
Ooh, yes, like Zelda. Skyward Sword.
Like the Zelda. You guys have been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I have not been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I've been playing a lot of Xenoblade. I'm up to
yes,
I believe
I'm playing a lesser game.
It probably is, quite honestly. You know what? I'll kick it off then. So I had originally bought Xenoblade way back on the Wii, and I would say at that time I was probably not, prepared for the style of RPG it is, and I dropped off of it fairly quickly once I really got to grasp, and then I went to Xenoblade X, because, sure, and eventually fell off of that, although I got much farther, and then skipped Xenoblade 2, and then got to Xenoblade 3, and we'll say personal circumstance kind of pushed me to see that through to the end, and this has become my... During vacation, whenever we recorded the previous episode, it became my vacation project. I just decided, you know what, I am going to finally finish Xenoblade 1, I am going to finish Xenoblade 2, though perhaps not directly after, because I know how long this game is going to be. And I'm going to do that before I play Tears of the Kingdom, if only because if I don't finish this game, I'm probably not going to finish it again. So
Yeah, that's why I was marathoning all those Metroids last month.
I mean, I didn't do bad. I put in 40 hours in my vacation week, just playing 8 to 10 hours in a day across the entire week, plus doing family stuff. But what I kind of settled into it is Xenoblade 3 it really made a lot of the quality of life decisions that Xenoblade 3 implements really, really apparent going back to 1. And it isn't to say that I'm not enjoying 1. 1's is a bit more... I'm gonna call it more straightforward as a story, but that's with the understanding that all the Xenoblade stories are wild and out there. But of the many Xenoblade stories that I've experienced so far, it's definitely the one that's it's a little the most conventional of these. Hey, we're going to turn the nature of the world as you come to understand it upside down. But yeah, it's basically it is the one where Shulk hails from, of Smash Brothers fame, among others, and of course originally launched way back when on Wii, and unlike what the series would kind of become, it's much more linear's not the right word, but compared to like where X went as an RPG, this one is much more straightforward. It wants you to continuously go to particular places and complete specific missions, but it's still peppered with a lot of side content.
X is more open, and generally like it's easier to like access and play the side content. The structure of the side quests is more streamlined and more along lines of what you get from Western RPG. Whereas I find with Xenoblade 1, like the side quests can be kind of frustrating to play, especially the ones that like are asking you to find like this specific item that just like spawns randomly in the world somewhere. Like you just have to like keep collecting in that area until you eventually grind it out.
Now
It's just stuff like that.
I don't recall if this was in the original version, but have you played Definitive Edition?
I have not. And I decided, you know what? I guess I need to get around to beating the Wii version. I don't need to spend $60 on a graphical upgrade with a few hours of new content.
Okay. Well, basically what I would say then is they have definitely improved the quality of life on those particular types of things. If there is a instance of an item that you need to collect, it will highlight it on the map to tell you, okay, wow, this has randomly spawned here. It will draw a line for how you get there, so that it's much, more direct, so that as you're going through missions and submissions, like, if you just want to follow the line and go where it tells you to go, instead of just sticking around on the map, like, you can do it. Like, it will give you the tools to do that. I have to be approaching the end, but I suspect I'm still probably going to spend, like, another 20 hours or so. Part of it is going to be grinding out missions. Just because, until I sort of get to... I suspect I won't get through every mission that the game will allow me to get through, just because one of the things I kind of felt were Xenoblade X and Xenoblade 3 have really, really good mission design. And by mission design, I mean they have really great stories attached to the missions.
Yeah.
The first Xenoblade, like, it's not bad, but it's not nearly as interesting. You don't get the same sort of trail of stories that really build up a place. You talk to people, they will occasionally have trouble. Sometimes you will get more than one mission within like a story path, so you get to enjoy it. But when I think back to Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and the we'll say the character-centric missions in those were very well developed. They really built out the individual characters, and even some of the smaller ones that weren't character-focused still really helped develop the colonies that you would get those missions from, and that was really meaningful to me. When I think back to Xenoblade Chronicles X, some of those missions were they were insane. They were telling bizarre, strange stories about all of these various species of aliens that you were building up. The more that you did missions, the more it actually impacted the town and the people in them. It made New LA a vastly different place by doing extra missions between the start and finish.
I just love the setting of X. X is probably my
Oh.
favorite in the whole series right now. And it is the one that, like, I really thought I was going to complete, but, like, I just kind of ran into some, like, level grinding walls.
Okay, let me tell you where I stopped, and we'll see how we compared. I stopped whenever it was the giant-legged UFO. Did you at least get that far?
The furthest thing I remember is like my mechs can fly now, and I can like get to this far off island that's just like all gray and stuff, and everything there just obliterates me.
Oh yeah, that's like Endgame Island, and they let you go there. Like the thing about X is very much more of an open world game than I would say even Xenoblade 3 is.
It's really centered on exploration, like scientific exploration, which is really cool.
Right, it's a game where you are a you are the last living survivors of Earth after it got blown up in a in a multi-planet conflict, and it's not that you are part of the conflict, is that you were in the way. And now you brought New LA, the entire city, off to this planet, just somewhere, along with like a dozen other races that just kind of come together, and it's like, is it? It seems weird that we're all here. Doesn't it seem weird? It seems real weird. I wonder if there's a reason for that.
Yeah, like it's a very compelling story. The main thing that's kind of in my way right now is it's on the Wii U, and like I'm not really playing the Wii U much.
Oh, it's every Xenoblade's mania right now that like we don't get a port of X yet. Like
I was expecting it, and yet here we are, 2023, still on the Wii U.
I mean, it's safe to, the thing is, Xenoblade 2 did real well. Like for the nature of the game it did pretty dang well. So it makes sense to go to a new one with 3 in that particular universe without, doubling back into X. But yeah, like I can tell you, anyone who I talk to about Xenoblade is like, we would really, really like to have a port of X on Switch. Oh, that's...
The only thing is that I would miss losing is the dual screen experience. It is one of the best dual screen games on the Wii U, if not the best, because it's just so nice being able to manage the maps and all that stuff on the second screen. It's really convenient. But man,
so my plan right now is to try to wrap it up. I think I will save Future Connected for another time. It's the same reason why I probably won't go straight into 2, because number one, Zelda is out and I have not played it, and there's only so long I can wait, avoiding, the basic cultural zeitgeist going on before it's like, okay, I kind of have to play Zelda. I can't avoid information any longer. But I'm kind of also looking for something real short I can play in between, whether it's like something on Game Pass, something indie, or even just like, I don't know, I got a bunch of Mega Man collections. What if I just play some Mega Man games and then get into the next massive open world action adventure game in Zelda?
I mean, if you like dumping things into holes, Donut County's a nice couple-hour experience.
Oh, I love Donut County, but I already played Donut County, and Donut County's a hard game to play once again, because you get to see everything in Donut County the first time.
And Katana Zero, that's another good short one. I've talked about that on here too.
Okay, I don't remember that one. There are plenty of small games I could jump into, but I'll be looking for some sort of palate cleanser between massive massive schedule wrecking experiences. So why don't you guys tell me about your massive schedule wrecking experience?
Okay. Well, so Tears of the Kingdom. This is a game that has just completely dominated my gaming time since it came out. What, two weeks ago or something? I don't know.
But who's counting every hour of every day that I'm not playing it?
Since whenever it came out, and it has just been the best open world experience I have ever had. Like, and like, before this, Breath of the Wild was the best open world experience I've ever had, but this one just blows it away because it just takes Breath of the Wild and just like layers all this additional exploration on top of it, all of this like additional stuff to play with. There's just so many new toys in this game versus Breath of the Wild. Like you know, in Breath of the Wild, people were coming up with all these tricks to like come up with these very basic mechanisms. But in this game, just building workable technology is just a core part of the experience. And so, like, I can just like, okay, so like, so one of my like favorite experiences of this game so far is, I try to find Kakariko Village. I try to just retrace my steps, don't use a guide or anything. I end up in a completely different part of the map. I end up finding Hateno, which, if you guys don't remember, is where Link you could buy his house. And from there, like, I do some exploration. I make my way down to the beach, and I find a bottle that just says, from this guy who's like leaving a trail for me to follow. And so, like, at my first attempt at a boat is, like, I need to build a boat, and there's some parks in the beach. And my first attempt at a boat is like these two busted planks of wood connected to a fan, and which and a small control mechanism, which works about as well as you'd expect. It's a piece of garbage. But then, like, I end up making my way to an island full of these actual legitimate boats and more fan parks. And from there, I build a freaking hoverboat. And I'm basically just going on this massive, like, sea adventure along the Hyrulean coastline, fighting monsters, finding treasure, and like exploring various things completely disconnected to the initial quest I was trying to follow. Until, like, I eventually find the guy, and it's just like this whole sort of adventure that, forget Breath of the Wild, you couldn't have, like, just gone on a random sea excursion in the middle of most any game unless the sea excursion was the point. So it's like this game is just so versatile, it's incredible. And
I mean,
in addition,
it doesn't hold your hand at all. You just go.
No.
Once you do the main like tutorial world, it just drops you in and says go.
And even the tutorial island, it's way bigger. There's way more to see. Feels like kind of like a proper little open world experience in and of itself, more than a tutorial. It doesn't really hold your hand too much. Versus the Great Plateau.
I still don't know how to make a paraglider, and I've seen some people on with one, and I'm like,
you don't make a paraglider. You need to continue the main quest line. What?
Okay, I have to do a main quest line.
Yeah. You don't make the paraglider. What you do is you're given the paraglider by Pura over at I forget what it's called. Something landing. It's like right in front of Hyrule Castle, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. But like that's where a lot of the game. There's like this area, I forget what it's called, that's like basically like your central hub where there's a free bed you gain access to like all of the facilities that you need throughout the game to upgrade your various things, and it's also where you talk to the characters that kind of give out your main quests and kind of point you towards where you need to go for certain things. Now, another section, another aspect of this game that I absolutely love is the depth. Like this game's marketing mostly focused on the Sky Islands. So my thinking was, okay, so like, the Sky Islands are going to be the main focus of this, but no, the main focus of this and the main the main focus of the exploration is the depths. This entire underground environment, the size of the regular map, but completely underground and completely shrouded in darkness. And it is just such a cool thing to explore because it's just utterly filled with ruins, and like you have to like your way with these things called bright bloom seeds that you can either throw or shoot with an arrow. I prefer to use arrows. And like this is the area of the game where you where you find most of the parks that you use to build things, and you can like build various vehicles to explore this massive underground environment. And like the primary goal of exploring the depths is there's like these there's like these rooks, these light rooks that you have to activate that illuminate an entire area, and eventually you eliminate the entirety of the depths. But it's kind of like this area's version of the towers.
I had a feeling that I haven't got to the depths yet, but I knew those things.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to put some spoiler markers in this podcast episode.
I've been collecting those bright bulbs for a long time because I always felt, okay, these are going to be important later on.
Well, you go to the depths pretty early on in this game, if you're following the main quest line.
I have not been following the quest line. I have been completely lost and going on my own.
I mean, Breath of the Wild is a game where you don't necessarily follow the quest line per se. You do whatever the heck you want.
True, but this game is more linear.
I've done about 7 or 8 shrines so far.
This game is more linear.
The main shrine areas.
This game is more linearly structured versus Breath of the Wild. You can't just like walk straight to Ganon, which is another thing I really appreciate because it allows this game to have more of an actual storyline to it. But I admit, like, even when it comes to the main quest line, I found like the quest line area completely by accident. I was just walking around, and eventually, I guess, like, I see like this tower off in the distance, and I walk towards it, and it's like, oh, it's a fort. Oh, it's apparently where I've been like spending my time all this time. So it's like, yeah. So like this game really just lets you have a very organic adventure, and it's just like the ultimate adventure simulator. Like it blows Skyrim away. It blows any open world game I've ever played away. Like nothing's even come close. And when you combine that with the fact that you can build loads of different mechanisms using like either like genuine engineering skills, which I don't have, or like basic inference of that should work. It's like it just allows for just infinite experimentation. I can just see people just getting lost in the building aspects of this game alone.
Oh, yeah. And I mean that's what's amazing about it. Just having that hand to just glue anything to anything, and you can create all these different devices.
So Jason,
create all kinds of weapons that are completely unique.
So Jason, I want to know, what's the dumbest thing you've built so far?
I built a wagon with a crucifix and stuck a kokoro on it.
Perfect.
By the way, if you think throwing the penguin off at the edge of the cliff in Super Mario 64 is sadistic, what you can do to these little leaf guys with the heavy backpacks that can't move is hilarious. I have seen people online make barbecues and stuck them on there, where they twist them around and they're not still going, I'm looking for my friend.
My favorite one remains the Korok crucifixion memes. I've not done it myself. I prefer just taking them to where they need to go. Although one thing I did right before I went on that on that ocean adventure I mentioned,
somebody made a launcher where you can launch them where you need to go.
One thing I did before I went on that ocean adventure I mentioned was I saw like I found this Korok and I saw his buddy down by the beach. I didn't feel like rolling him all the way down, so I just attached a rocket to him and just to see if it get him there, and like perfect shot, just launched him right over the beach. It was hilarious and effective. But unfortunately, I've not built much in the way of stupid things because I don't have enough parks yet to really kind of mess around with stuff. I've just mostly been trying to just see, okay, what effective thing can I build today to get myself where I need to go? Although I have had lots of mishaps with airship with like little hot air balloons and stuff. I was trying to like use one to like transport a stone for something somewhere else, and I couldn't really steer it, and I kept trying to improvise a method of steering it by like moving the fangs on it and stuff in midair, and it just kept falling to my death. It never worked out, but I haven't made anything too stupid yet because I guess I really haven't really been able to find enough parks to experiment with yet.
My favorite part of the game thus far is the YouTube ad I'm looking at that is advertising counterfeit amiibo cards, which is great to have an ad for that whenever you search for Zelda Tears of the Kingdom trailers. And my second favorite is this YouTube thumbnail that says in bright yellow letters, "You should build this, in my opinion, if you want to." That great phrasing for a thumbnail. Thank you, internet content creator.
I feel really bad for my horse because I just left it somewhere. I just don't touch it anymore.
Well, you just go back to your stable and it'll be returned there.
Like I can, but I don't really want to.
If you check on your horses, all of your horses from the previous Breath of the Wild game have come back to your stables.
That was a pleasant surprise and not something I realized until I caught a new one, which is kind of annoying. But whatever, like, I caught a whole new horse. I named him Bojack 2. And, because I figured, old Bojack is no longer with me, so this won't have to do. But no, I still got old Bojack along with Epona and everything, so whatever. I do appreciate that.
I managed to tame a skeleton horse. And this is early in the game, and I thought I could just use instant travel and it could take it with me, and I could not. So I lost my little skeleton horse.
I mean, like back in Breath of the Wild, I attempted everything. Like I was able to get a bear, and I took the bear to the stable, and they told me no. A skeleton horse, they told me no. The big fantasy deer, they told me no. Like we can't take this. This isn't a horse. Go.
I just love the reactions.
Yeah. But as we're building, I'm gonna swerve here. Shigs, you've been building as well. What have you been building?
Oh, okay. Well, I've also been playing a game called Lego 2K Drive. I've been on kind of because of Disney Speed Bay, I've been kind of on a racing fix. So this is a new game that's by the 2K, and it's basically Lego with like a kind of open world, not quite open world map of similar to Forza Horizon and stuff.
So just out of curiosity, Jason,
open maps. There's several maps you can go to where there's areas.
So out of curiosity, Jason,
yes.
Do you follow 2K's various other outings in the world of I guess I would say licenses? Let's say NBA 2K, for example.
No, the only other one I why that's 2K is WWE 2K, because I've been like pro wrestling since I was a kid.
Haven't those
So
been garbage for years?
Yeah,
not
and
really. The last two outings have been excellent. They took a year off from the series and got a new staff and everything, and just they've improved on that formula that they've been having troubles with like mad. So the
Well, I'm happy to
WWE
hear that.
games now I'm thinking what you're talking about is monetization, and that I'm sure that's
oh
what you're
yeah, that's full of
looking at.
monetization.
Not yet. It's funny. It's got a season pass that I got. I don't know if it was because I got early access, but I tried it on the day it was launched and it still wasn't up. There's a season pass you can get where you can get extra stuff, and you pay like a certain amount per however many months a season lasts. But that has not opened up yet, or at least the last time I played the game. I mean, I can go back and check now, but I'm not sure. And there's one in WWE 2K that's like a card game thing, and it's something. In both cases, this is something you can completely pass. It's not doesn't really add much to the game except if you want extra cars or certain parts in that. I mean, I haven't had any kind of desire like the WWE one to ever use their trading card system, their seasonal things, that because there's a bunch of different other single player modes you can play. In this case, they got a very, very big and expansive story mode already involved in the game, besides multiplayer or Grand Prix. So I haven't had a really much of a desire, other than I have been saving up. I will say this: it takes a lot of virtual currency just to buy a new either street or all-terrain or boat type of vehicle. So I imagine that's what the season pass is for, as far as opening that kind of stuff up.
Does it
But
feel like so like the struggle that I've been having with this with sort of the discourse around this game is I am broadly interested in it. I'm not necessarily someone who's going to invest all of the money that they want me to, but
just to let
basically,
you know,
go ahead.
I've started up the game, and the season pass thing, which normally at the title screen, is not even on here right now. So I guess they're just ignoring it until I think it opens up on June 1st.
So,
So
so
right now it's just a standard game.
okay. So the basically where I'm going with this is like, how does it feel if you don't like go whole hog on the insanity of what they want to do as their plan? Do you still feel like, number one, you're getting a good game out of it, and number two, are you getting sufficient content out of it?
Yeah, if you never use the season, you are going to get a lot of content. Every race you do unlocks money, unlocks a new vehicle because you've beaten the opponent, and you get that opponent's vehicle. Even if you don't, you know, want a new vehicle, you can build your own vehicles out of Lego parts, just as you could in real life if you bought up enough Legos and Lego pieces. And it could come in different sizes. They automatically have a gray grid with top four tires attached, and you just build up the car you want out of Lego pieces. And depending on how big it is, uh, affects its steering and its speed and all that.
Okay, like the Mario Kart stats.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Mario Kart stats. It's The handling isn't the best in races. I mean, I usually still win, but it has a very different handling than you get out of most kart racers and stuff. It has more of a Forza Horizon kind of steering, where it's when you do drifting, it's long, turn drifts. Depending, it depends all on the handling, but the handling is very different. It feels like you got to turn wider and such.
Do
But
they give you
it's not. I'm sorry.
do they give you the benefit of like a rewind that a Forza would?
I haven't found rewind on here. Yeah, you would just have to replay the level if you're trying to beat the main racer. But it has a whole ton of different activities besides the main races. that you can do. There is, of course, a very kid-friendly story mode you can go through, and you can just go straight through all that, or you can explore each land and do all the little different activities to to earn extra money and extra parts and such. And each vehicle handles very differently. This depending on both whether it's a street racer or an all-terrain or a boat. It'll handle very differently. I heard some of the people that worked on like Hydro Thunder and that worked on this game too, which is would explain how the boat handling feels so good on it. I will say that.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if I'd recommend buying this right away. I'd recommend if you have a chance to check it out through like something like GameFly or something, or wait till a discount. I'd recommend that. It's not a bad game at all. It is fun to play. It's just not as like tight as the kart racers that I enjoy, like Mario Kart and Disney Speedstorm, and of course Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing Transformed. But it is still a solid racing game.
Gotcha. It sounds like it's probably all right, but there's going to be better options out there, is what I'm hearing. Vibe
Yeah.
check. Okay.
Yeah, unless you want a really large. This one, story mode is very, very large for a racing game. I'll say that it's very Forza Horizon in that sense.
Are there better alternatives to Project Q out there, Jason?
Okay, so you're playing me. Yeah, I saw Project Q at the end of that PlayStation presentation, and I'm like, this is just like a 7 or 8 inch screen attached, or they took a PS5 and split it in half, attached it to a screen. And if PS5 remote is all, or PlayStation remote, pardon me, is all it's really good for, then that's not much of a deal. I mean, there's other
Yeah,
portable devices that can do that on the market. And then I happened to catch the Backbone PlayStation controller for. There's ones for Androids and there's ones for iPhone.
I think I
I
linked it
originally
to
made the
you.
mistake of buying the iPhone one and had to immediately return it, which is too bad because it was the fastest delivery Amazon ever did for me. I ordered it in the morning and it came within 2.5 hours. I'm like, wow. But it was the wrong one, so I just got the Android one instead. And yeah, this one is a PlayStation edition of the Backbone controller for an Android smartphone. If you got a strong enough smartphone, it works really well. I use it for my PS5 remote play and for Xbox Game Pass streaming. Normally, when you're doing PS5 remote play, you have to have a PlayStation 5 controller hooked up to a device separately. Like if I do it off my laptop, the reason I'm doing this is my PS5 is in the main living room where me and my brother and sister-in-law always watch TV. So my PS5 gets a lot less play than my Xbox Series S does, which because it's in my bedroom. So if I'm need to play like the new Star Wars game, I got that on PS5 because I share it with my brother. He's a big Star Wars fan, so we're both playing that. But if I want to have time to play it on my own, I usually just do it via remote play. And this works fantastic. It has a very comfortable grip. Backbone also has its own app that you can install, so you could just choose a game from both the either something that's Google Play that's compatible, or or the PS remote, or Xbox Game Pass, and just instantly stream it right from here. Really comfortable grip. Uh, Works extremely well. I've actually been using it today for another game that we'll be talking about later, and that's Sonic Triple Trouble 16-bit. I got the Android version of that up on my
Oh,
phone, and
nice.
so it works really good with that. And yeah, I mean, it is a bit pricey at $99. I will say that, but it has the
Compared
trick and it
to
works really well.
100 plus question mark.
It's
Yeah,
something to be more expensive than the Project
imagine
Q.
what. Yeah,
Less less expensive than the Project Q.
I'm sure it's probably less expensive than the Project Q and does more, at the same time.
I predict Project Q will be $300.
But I've had a controller for the phone before, and it's never been as comfortable as this one. This one is really solidly built. It's got a little nub for it if you want to have your headphone jack in, and you can charge your
Huh.
phone from it directly too. It doesn't use separate batteries. It just uses the charge off your phone to control, and it doesn't suck up too much charge at all doing that. So yeah, if you're looking for a controller for your phone for certain games, then I really would recommend this. It works really solidly.
Cool. Alex, you also are playing with controllers with screens in them.
Um.
In the notes here, I see something that just says Dreamcast, and I don't know what to think of that.
Oh well, I figured that like we would. I didn't know you. Well, I didn't know that you're gonna be like transitioning like this between each thing. But anyway, okay. So, what I actually want to talk about, was the so my housemate and I, we have modified one of my Dreamcasts, with it's something that we've been wanting to do for a while, and like finally, like I had all the parts and everything together, and we modified it to have one of the to have GDMU, one of those a disc emulator that lets you play games off of the SD card. And this is what I was spending the bulk of my time playing before Tears of the Kingdom came out. Because like I knew that the moment that came out, I was not going to touch it. And so like we built it like about a week and a half before Tears came out, and it is an awesome experience. Like my Dreamcast is very close to now just like being a modern console of sorts. It's connected to the internet again. It's got a wireless controller, and most importantly, all the games are now digital on an SD card, and I can select them from a menu. And it has made playing certain games on this thing significantly easier. So like Rent a Hero, that superhero action RPG that Sega made, got a for the Dreamcast, never got a localization, got a fan pack last month, and I finally played it. It's one of the first games I played on this thing, and it went great. Like it's like it feels like an official game, and
so if I understand the technology of this correctly, the idea is that you effectively disconnect and remove the disk drive, and what this does is this replaces how the disk drive would normally communicate with the rest of the system, and instead of reading a CD, it just reads off of an SD card. So it would be much more direct and fast.
Now, this is like the best way to do certain homebrew stuff, and like the Atomic Wave arcade machine, which is basically just an arcade Dreamcast. Someone ported all of those games from that to the Dreamcast a couple years ago, but the best way to play them was through GDMU, and so I've been kind of holding off until now. And like because of Atomic Wave used cartridges and with faster loading speeds, and so like this just really opens up the system to just like playing like to just playing anything that you want, because I no longer have to burn discs or deal with all these CDRs or anything. It's just sticking them on the SD card with an SD card manager, and then they're ready to go. And so I've been using it to check out lots of homebrew stuff. Like I said, Rent a Hero. Rent a Hero is a really goofy, fun game, which I do highly recommend. I think that like y'all might actually enjoy it from what I've played, because it's just got a very nice sense of humor that has translated over pretty well, I think.
It's certainly one of the Sega franchises that, like, Sega has had multiple entries in this series, but have never, to my knowledge, attempted to really bring it over. And
so someone was going to bring over the Xbox port of this game, but then it never happened.
But like even then, it isn't something that they port forward whenever they've done their other Dreamcast ports, or like say, I think it was on Sega Genesis, wasn't it?
It was originally a Sega Genesis game, which was also Japanese exclusive.
And it's not as if it appears in like other, Sega crossover properties.
No, it's been a fairly obscure franchise for a while now, but it's a fun game. The battle system, the battle system is fun for a game made in 1999. And like you start out as this very like kind of low class hero who's like your very first mission is handing out flyers, and you beat up a bully, and you can also like spar with Sekata Sanshiro, and it just escalates from there. And I'm really looking forward to getting back to it one day because I did not get nearly as far as I wanted to. But the Dreamcast fan community has just been on a roll with these fan translations lately, and this is really gonna come in handy when it comes to experiencing them. Now, the big drawback with this is at the moment, because I have like most of my 128 gigabyte SD card filled up, it loads very slowly. Like whenever I turn on the Dreamcast, it takes like 30 seconds to load the menu. There is a way to bypass that, but I haven't been able to get that working yet. So like, as with any homebrew thing, there are some technical hurdles that you need to either have the patience or expertise to overcome. But on the whole, if you own a Dreamcast, this is a really great way to experience the console.
Cool.
And yeah.
We're approaching the hour mark. You had mentioned Breath of the Wild Champions Ballad.
I guess make sure I beat that before Tears of the Kingdom came out. And
did you get your motorcycle?
I don't really have too much to say about it. It was meatier than I was expecting, but once I beat it, I was just kind of done with the game again, which was the main reason I didn't do it years ago.
Did you get your motorcycle?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get the motorcycle, and then I have nothing to do but drive back to Ganon, I guess, because I've done everything but the Korok seeds.
Gotcha.
I just don't have much motivation to use the motorcycle.
More important question: did you get your Nintendo Switch shirt?
Oh yeah. I got that back on day one.
Perfect. But the real meat of that DLC.
But yeah, I just want to make sure I beat it before Tears of the Kingdom came out.
Sounds good. Let's go ahead and transition from that over to news. The thing that people are probably here to listen to. We've got we're gonna kick things off with some Sonic Frontiers news, and apparently Sonic Frontiers has sold 3.5 million and has surpassed Sonic Heroes as like one of the best-selling 3D Sonic games ever.
Yeah, now Sega has never been great at tallying up all the numbers and everything, but as far as we know, Sonic Frontiers is now the best-selling 3D Sonic game, period. Now, it's certainly possible that if you take all of the ports of Sonic Adventure or Sonic Adventure 2, including the digital releases, those have probably sold more. But as far as what Sega has actually released, this is now the new record. And technically, I guess another caveat is that this isn't official. It wasn't in a physical report or anything. The Sega president just casually mentioned it offhand while at a Rovio press conference. But it's good enough for me. Came from the Sega president.
It's a lot. I mean, Sega, I would argue, for all of the criticisms that I have about that game, it certainly was more of a risk than a lot of other Sonic games have been in the recent past.
Yeah, this really is I guess you could almost call it sort of a half step between Boost and what a open world Sonic game should probably be. But this is basically just setting the foundation for what Sonic is going to be moving forward. And I guess that combined with the massive success of the movie has just kind of helped propel the game just to heights the franchise hasn't seen since the 90s.
I think the tough part in my mind is going to be that whatever they release next, like if I go by what I've heard in my corners of internet discussion, was like people had been pleasantly surprised by Sonic Frontiers, but there's very few people that will say, like, people will say, oh yeah, it's fun. It's not good, but it's fun. And I kind of see it as, well, whatever they do next then has to be significantly better than Sonic Frontiers to, I don't know, kind of maintain that, because it almost feels like Sonic Frontiers sold very well on the promise of what it is, more so than, like, the actual word of mouth of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm kind of off base there with
I think you are, but at the same time, I at least get what you're saying. I do think the next the next Sonic game will need to be significantly better than this. Like this one, like just kind of barely received like what would be considered a good grade from the various reviewing sites, and I don't think that just an outright just copy of this game is going to do that next time around. Especially now that we've all had like some time to stew over it and like figure out, okay, like this is an issue. This could have been done better. Maybe we didn't need a 14-second parry.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
but like
it's got the building blocks. It just needs something that with a lot of meat to get it there.
I don't really think. Go on.
It's vanilla ice cream, and you got to get the sundae going on it. You know what I mean?
I don't really think if I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think the quality has had too much to do with the sales. I think it's just that Sonic is big now. I think he's like I said before, he's got a movie, he's got a cartoon. Kids love him.
Well,
like Sonic is back.
Plus,
in
if
a
you
way
look
he
at
hasn't been in a very long time.
Plus, right now, like we'll say the less guided open world game is hot right now, and they succeeded in releasing one of those. Again, like, I have issues with the quality of it being so, specifically in comparison to, as someone who loves that genre, it's not a good one of them. But I don't know. I'm kind of looking at this and thinking, where will they actually go after this? Because I don't think that they can just make a Sonic Frontiers 2. I don't think
I got
that's
some ideas, but this probably isn't the place to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I also have some ideas. It's just a question of, like, okay, what are they going to see as, like, what are the limitations of their ambition for it? Like, are they just going to look and say, well, we need the direct follow-up? It doesn't sound like Kishimoto's interested in, like, the direct follow-up. It sounds like he at least has some ideas of, like, well, we're kind of interested in this or that, and we're taking note of this, and I don't know.
Like, to not get too deep into the weeds of it, like, I would like to see them get rid of the boost, replace it with a physics-based movement system that takes advantage of the terrain, and by that measure, make more interesting terrain that can make traversal more platforming, more difficult. And, like, instead of having levels that are, like, accessed in the world, it's all just one big area, and the levels are just, like, attached to the open world and are just part of the environment, stuff like that. Like, there's definitely places I think they could go.
I guess my biggest concern is,
big departure.
I'm just not sure if it seems weird with Kishimoto and, like, the things that he said on Twitter and trying to compile those into any sort of meaningful narrative of, like, what would he actually do? Because it sounds like he's interested in maybe doing something like that, but at the same time, if he was that interested, like, wouldn't we have seen bits and pieces of that Like,
I mean, I don't know. I'm not trying to speculate on what Kishimoto would do. Like, I'm just saying what I think they could do. Like, where I think they could just take the formula, because I stopped trying to predict Sonic Team a long time ago, because maybe they'll make maybe they'll make like a big new open world experience, or maybe they'll make Sonic Forces 2. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know what they were going to follow up Sonic Forces 2 with. Sonic Forces with.
I mean, they
Sonic
certainly
Frontiers was kind of a surprise.
certainly had enough time to do whatever it was. Yeah. But yeah, we've got some other stuff coming up, including pre-orders now available for the Tails Nendoroid over on Good Smile. The company is Good Smile. The toy is Nendoroid. You can get it, or you can pre-order it to come out like late this year or early next. I believe it's early next year. It's very cute. I've been dabbling with the idea on whether or not I would like to get it.
I mean, it certainly looks cute, but this isn't really the kind of thing I normally get. So, yeah.
Well, so I have the Sonic Nendoroid, but I
well, you got more reason to get it.
I do, but at the same time, so it came out fairly recently, and I did not put this in the article because it didn't seem relevant enough, but it certainly puts a damper on my enthusiasm to get future Good Smile stuff, or Good Smile. Good Feel is the studio that has made Nintendo games. Good Smile
don't get those mixed up.
is the figurine company. Apparently, Good Smile has been one of the consistent financial backers of 4chan for years.
What?
Yeah, I've read it over on Ars Technica. Apparently, once that came to light, Disney had dropped them, and they are now moving away from that relationship now. It's an interesting thing. It certainly puts a damper on me, like, impulse buying Nendoroids in a time in which I once will. I won't say that it will 100% stop me, but it certainly is a weird thing. It's a weird thing. The figurine's cute. Comes with like, Nendoroids are made to be adorable. They come with a bunch of accessories. They're very posable. They usually come with, like, clear plastic stands so that you can pose them in whatever pose you want, and then just hook them to the stand so that they maintain that pose, and you don't have to worry about it being balanced. The Tails one comes with, like, his tails are just laying, or he is spinning them to fly, or you could put goggles on him, or he can wink, or it comes with a tornado background. But
I think these things are normally like $60, right?
They're high-end toys. Like, you're not going to Target and getting one of these for cheap. They're pretty expensive. I think the Sonic one that I have is currently worth around 80-ish. They're going to do a reprint sometime, I think, like, late this year, early next as well. So if you want Sonic but haven't gotten Sonic yet, that'll be back soon. But yeah, it's cute. But the thing that might break me on getting another one will be whenever Bobobo gets officially announced, which was apparently officially announced whenever they announced Tails. I will need
Shigs,
Bobobo.
are you there?
Yeah, sorry, my brother came in the room and I had to mute it.
I put him
okay.
into a coma talking about adorable figurines.
I'm just making sure that we're not talking over you or something.
And I have seen those at conventions and stuff. Yeah, I did not know the backstory on all that 4chan thing.
Yeah, it's apparently it's a whole thing. It's over on Ars Technica. You can look it up. It's a very weird story, and 4chan is a bad place. You should not go there.
It is a bad place, but that can be the source of some good rumors.
It can also be the place for some very bad rumors. And
yeah, that too.
And a lot of sexism and xenophobia and piracy. a lot of piracy.
About that last one.
A lot of very explicit, very brazen piracy. So you're our comics man, Alex. Tell me about comics.
All right. I am the comics person, apparently. So I did write this whole story, I guess. So IDW revealed like 3 different Sonic comics for August.
And now because this was worried about Sonic with the whole IDW,
because this is IDW, we don't know if like this stuff could all just get delayed or whatever. But as at the moment, these are all coming for August, and that is Sonic. It's 2 one-shots and 1 regular monthly issue. It's the 2 one-shots are Sonic Endless Summer and Sonic's 900th Adventure. Endless Summer is kind of like part of a sort of a IDW wide like label, I guess, for the summer, where like 4 different licensed IPs are all getting Endless Summer one-shots, and Sonic is one of them.
Yeah, and something I should let you know, if you buy, I think, all 4 covers, they kind of connect. There's a Ninja Turtles cover where there's a wave of sand going past them real quick, and one of them, I think, hits Mikey or something. The other ones are laughing, and when you get to the Sonic one, it connects with the Sonic, so you know it was Sonic zooming by the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's close as we're ever going to get to IDW Sonic crossing over with anything.
I believe one of the ones in the middle between the 2 is actually My Little Pony as well. So
one's My Little Pony, and I think one is Dungeons and Dragons or something. We haven't seen that cover yet, though.
Probably. Yeah, it's IDW and the license they have and don't have, I've lost track of. But I think they have lost Transformers.
I will say I wouldn't be surprised if we eventually get a Ninja Turtles crossover with Sonic, because Ninja Turtles has crossed over with everybody so far.
I'm starting to think SEGA is really probably the roadblock when it comes to stuff like that, if I'm being honest.
Probably.
But anyway, so actually, darn, I should just and then there's Sonic's 900th Adventure, which, as near as I can tell, that is like supposed to be a celebration of like 900 printed Sonic stories.
Of all the comics, all worldwide, including Fleetway and Archie and all that.
So they've got like 6 different stories written by 6 different writers and drawn by 6 different artists, all of which are like linked together. And then finally we have issue 64 of the regular monthly issue, which is going to be a silver-centric issue, where one of the covers reference the Pepe Sylvia meme from darn it, I'm blanking on the name. Something in Philadelphia, or
one,
darn it.
Yeah,
Charlie Day, the Charlie Day thing. Because he's trying to because the whole premise of that issue, he's trying to figure out who the traitor is, which I can't believe he's been wrapped into this kind of plot line twice now. So so for Endless Summer, it's Sonic drags Jewel, Whisper, and Tangle to the beach, and they basically just have like a beach rivalry with the Babylon Rogues.
It sounds like the very
fun.
definition of like, this is a special issue. It's not like, oh, this is an issue where anything that matters happens.
Oh no, like that's generally what one shots are generally just meant to be like kind of stories.
Yeah.
But
They
yeah,
don't,
like
they're
it,
never
it just
involved
sounds
in
like
anything
fun.
important. They're just mainly the sports rivals.
It basically just sounds like, hey, let's have a multi-series theme across various things. So let's have it be summer. So let's tell a bunch of summer stories across several different series in which we could tell a story like that.
And meanwhile, not the 900th adventure, the Warp Topaz comes back, and it's going wild and it's basically like gonna like warp the world into oblivion. And like I said, 6 different writers are working on it, including Ian Flynn, who's gonna write the framing device, and Evan Stanley. But the most interesting the most interesting inclusion here is Nigel Kitching from Sonic the Comic, who is writing his first Sonic story since like 2000. Like, and he's writing something for this. I assume because this is meant to kind of be Sonic's 900th comic, and so this is their way of kind of bringing Sonic the Comic into it, albeit not like there won't be any kind of crossover or anything. That's already been confirmed. Not that there was any reason to think
you
that.
would not be able to, realistically.
Yeah, but they got Nigel Kitching to do a story for it, and they got Richard Elson, who was often paired with Nigel Kitching as an artist on these stories, to do a cover, which we haven't seen yet, but I'm really looking forward to it because I really like his version of Sonic, and I'm hoping Sega lets him do like his own style and not like conform to the usual series aesthetic. But I don't know, we'll see. But like overall, these comics are all like I'm really looking forward to them. It's really cool, I guess, having like 3 different comic books in a single month. So yeah, and so when we get to August, we're gonna have a lot to talk about comic book wise.
Bring back the Eternal Champion spin-off of Sonic the Comic.
So
yeah. So Jason, who's coming to Summer Game Fest?
Apparently Sega is.
Sure, but who else is? This is a test. You will be graded on this.
I don't know. I guess Activision and Ubisoft.
Both Activision.
Let
me check. Ubisoft will be there. Is Warner Brothers going to be there?
Not sure.
They will be there. Is Samsung Gaming Hub going to be there?
Believe it or not, yes.
Is Magic the Gathering going to be there?
I'm going to say no.
They are going to be there. Will the
okay? Are you saying that Summer Games Fest is just basically about who's willing to buy a spot, and it's not actually about games?
I am saying that if you want the hottest Hoyoverse news, then you're going to Summer Game Fest. But also, yeah, Sega will be there.
Oh, yay! And so, like,
I choose to believe that this means that Sega is coming to the Hoyoverse. Can you confirm, Alex? Is Sonic going to come to that anime game whose name I can't remember?
Well, GX, I am technically under NDA, but yes.
Cool.
He's going to be at the Hoyoverse thingy that you're talking about.
Is Sonic going to be in the not Zelda game, or is he going to be a train waifu?
He's going to be in Gollum as DLC.
Beautiful. That's not what I asked, but I accept it.
Gollum is going to get to order him around and raise him from a baby.
If he was in the disaster like Gollum.
So it's kind of worth mentioning that Sega has often been part of Summer Game Fest, but there's the long hanging question this year of like, okay, but will Summer Game Fest basically consume the broad E3 what was going to be? Because like what we've heard is basically companies were thinking about going to E3, and when no one bit, they just all collectively decided, well, no one's going to bite, so let's not do it. So companies are still going to have announcements. EA is still going to have games that will come out. Ubisoft will still have games to have in some way or another, or at least like DLC. Like, I am kind of wrapping this around to SEGA kind of did not have great showings at any Summer Game Fest. I think they
No.
Yeah, like the things that they would show at that time were often, here's what our European strategy studio is doing. Here's Mankind. Do you care about Mankind yet? No. Okay, well, we'll see you next year then.
I just know that like multiple times now, Keighley has like hinted at a Sonic thing being there, and then it's like I sit there and I wait, and it's never worth it, even when there is something, because I'm just sitting through hours of commercials.
I'm sorry.
And CG trailers.
Humankind.
And I'm not looking forward to doing it again.
Let me make sure I get my broadly disappointing strategy game named properly. Humankind, not Mankind.
I genuinely didn't know. It looks interesting from what I've seen, but I'm just not looking for games like that right now.
It doesn't look interesting from what I've seen.
Huh.
It's still possible something could come. We have a broad understanding of, like, there is going to be other Sonic things this year beyond what they have announced. Obviously, who knows? Maybe that is talking about Sonic Prime or further Sonic Prime events. Maybe it's talking about further IDW events. But at the very least, we know there are Sonic things to remind the public of, even if it's not a new announcement.
We next month we're getting like 2 DLC things, and like if they're going to announce a new game, June is probably the month they're going to do it at this point, because it does seem like SEGA just likes making June their big month for Sonic stuff now.
I mean,
like one reason
it's his birthday month.
It's like May is the Star Wars month. June is the Sonic month.
I don't know. Man, I lost my train of thought. Never mind.
So okay, let's drive this bus off a cliff. What are your over/under on there being Sonic Central this year? And why is it 100%?
I think it's pretty good. I don't know about 100%, but it's definitely up there, because last year they had a Sonic Central and they basically gave us nothing.
Alex, excuse me. There were new King Ice necklaces to announce. You could get Supersonic in the gaudiest ass hanging fake jewel thing that you could possibly want for way cheaper than would be reasonable, but also way more expensive than anyone should want to pay.
And this year, they could conceivably show a new game. If we're getting something like that this year, they could conceivably show like the Sonic, more of the Sonic Origins DLC and the Sonic Frontiers DLC. They could probably show us a clip from the upcoming season of Sonic Prime. There's stuff they can actually show this year. Because so long as they don't like just give it all away to Summer Games Fest or IGN first, like they could like use that show to actually show and announce some things. So
give it to
sure.
IGN,
I think it's a pretty good chance.
Suddenly, the Sonic Frontiers DLC is running at like 20 frames per second, and someone's playing it for me.
But like we don't know anything about Wave 3, and this would be the perfect time for them to talk about the Wave 3 of the DLC, since it's going to have like story content and stuff and playable characters. So yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Do you think that there's okay? Obviously, they're doing significant work to continue Sonic Frontiers. Like, they're doing stuff. They have a team, and that team is working. They certainly have a team that had to do work to get Sonic Origins up to where it's going to be for this release. How reasonable is a new game announcement at a time like this?
I think pretty good. Like, there have long been rumors of a 2D game that has been in development, including rumors from like the same sources, from the same place, from like the same things that gave us those reliable Sonic Frontiers rumors. And so, like,
we're just like a year out from Frontiers. On the other hand, we had like Sonic Forces and Sonic Mania very close to being back to back.
one thing that was confirmed recently is that Sonic Frontiers had a dev team size of like 64 people. And Sonic Team is significantly bigger than that. And now, admittedly, like, a bunch of those people are like working on like Puyo Puyo and stuff, but like that, there is certainly room for a team that can just have been working on a 2D game over the last few years in parallel to Frontiers. Alternatively, Sega also conceivably could have farmed a Sonic project out to a third-party developer, which they've done many times over the decades. Like, I don't know. I'm inclined to believe the 2D Sonic game rumors at this point. I don't know. I don't know like how far I believe them beyond there being a 2D Sonic, but I think it exists, and I think there's a chance we see it this year.
Okay. Hear me out. I have a pitch on you guys. I have a pitch for you guys. Okay. Sega has not worked with dimps in quite a while. So what if you take dimps and you have them make and have them start with like a Death by Daylight structure where it is all players versus a monster, and then you set it in the Sonic universe, and you basically have to have all of the player characters attempt to destroy it, and you have to have it control really terribly.
I know you're referencing a Dragon Ball game. I forgot what it's called.
I am referencing Dragon Ball The Breakers, which is...
Anyway, I'd love to get a new Sonic Rush game from Dimps.
It's too soon for another Sonic classic collection. I would still eventually would like the Sonic Advance as a collection of some sort.
Please.
I don't know how realistic that is. I don't even love Sonic Advance that much, but I do think it sort of needs to be available in some way, shape, or form. But yeah. I don't know. I am open to the idea. I just wonder, like, hey, is this year too packed with projects that they're already working on?
I don't know. Like, that's all I really have to say on that. Like,
what? Hey, by the time, I would say not even this time next month, by the time that we I don't know, if we do have a Sonic Central, we might be back here before the end of next month.
Yeah, like we if they do Sonic Central, we'll probably do an emergency podcast. I don't know if I want that to be our episode 100. Maybe
it'll be a special emergency episode or something.
Yeah.
We'll have an excuse to give it a
special 100 needs to be a little more special than that. Although it's a nice coincidence happening in June.
You know what else is getting more episodes though?
Sonic Prime, finally!
I know, everyone was so worried. It's like, is this the end of Sonic Prime? I don't remember the fact that they announced that there were 24.
Do y'all just not pay attention to Netflix or something?
No, they don't.
This is what Netflix does all the time. They release a
Masters
show.
of the Universe Revelation didn't have this long of a break in between.
Yeah, it was also Masters of the Universe Revelation was also like 8 episodes.
Okay, I'm gonna be the heel of the site, and I'm going to insult the fan base in the way that only I can. So the only thing that Sonic fans know and understand are the Sonic thing that is directly in front of them. Take that, like, Sonic fans! I have burned you completely with hard truths.
But like, this is how Netflix always works. They dump a bunch of episodes. They go
Yeah, I still
radio
hate
silent
binge.
on the show for like 5 to 6 months. Then they dump more episodes, rinse and repeat until the show is done. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll get like, I don't know, a 20-second promotional clip or something.
Yep, we got 8 episodes. If you keep up with the news, you will have read that the original order was for 24 episodes. So they are going to release 24 episodes. If the first set was 8, the second set will also be 8 because
and they aren't just going to arbitrarily like cancel it in the middle of production or something.
3 is 24.
It's true.
But regardless,
I just really hate episode binge dumps. I prefer week to week. It makes the series last longer, and you're able to discuss, episode by episode versus everything being dumped into a pile.
If we had a proper just weekly release schedule, like we could do, like we'd be talking about Sonic Prime every month. We'd have a Sonic Prime centered podcast.
Nope.
One of the two things.
Nope, not me. You will not be able to get me to do that. Not week to week.
It'll be me, Shigs, and I don't know. We'll rope in a third person somehow. But regardless, it's not going to happen because Netflix. But I do plan on binging these episodes the moment they come out. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to talking to you guys about it a couple days after they come out.
I will probably get to them, maybe.
Oh, come on, GX. You have to.
Oh, I like I said, I will watch it at some point. I like the series broadly. It's just that that's not really how I've consumed stuff. I do tend to binge things. I do tend to wait until I have the big span of time to actually do it.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to do it as quickly as you did last time.
Yeah, I'll honestly, I'll probably wind up just having it in the background while I work and, mostly pay attention to it.
I was gonna say, speaking of things,
that sounds like a fine way to watch something you'll be discussing on a podcast.
That's a great way. I know. I'll be an expert in it. Of all the details. Shigs, you are going to transition us to the next story.
I'm trying to transition as good as possible. And speaking of things to look forward to, Sonic Prime related, we got the Jack-specific Sonic Prime toys coming out at around the same time as the new quote-unquote season, the new batch of episodes.
They are all hitting in July. Let me tell you that Knuckles the Dread boat looks pretty cool. That's a toy I probably would have enjoyed as a kid.
It looks like a pirate ship.
I love pirate ship stuff, so I'm definitely picking that one up. And
I'm not picking any of this stuff up because I don't have the room or really the attention span. I also, I guess, don't play with toys, and I don't see the value in displaying them most of the time. But regardless,
Alex is an adult. He doesn't play with toys.
It's not about being an adult. I just don't find toys interesting anymore.
Oh, he doesn't find toys interesting.
Now.
Oh, he doesn't have. Let's all stay out of the way of Knuckles. He's too good for toys. He can't have toys.
I'm too good for Legos.
Yeah, he's too good for Legos. He hates fun.
But
he's a big boy now.
The whole time that I was provoking him, Jason, you got the best dig in. Bravo.
But anyway, the Knuckles, the Sonic Prime plush also looks kind of neat. I don't know.
I don't.
The movie plush.
For as toyetic as this series is, I've never found anything that they've shown off toy-wise to be particularly interesting.
One toy I did appreciate was that Sonic movie Tornado that you sent me. I have that on a shelf.
Yeah, that's cool. But that's in Sonic. That's the Sonic movie. I mean specifically for like Sonic Prime.
I know. I'm just going back to what I said about toys. That's the exception for me.
Jack Specific has some decent Sonic toys here and there. I haven't seen much that speaks to me in the Prime line. It feels low rent in ways. Like, it doesn't feel like it has the same attention to detail. They aren't posable. Like, a lot of these figurines aren't posable. A lot of them aren't, I don't know.
I think because this is based off of a cartoon, they're just targeting a younger audience with these. Like with their other Sonic toys, it seems pretty clear to me that they are targeting like older kids and, let's be honest, adult fans.
Some of them,
That's
sure.
What,
but also but even stuff like the sports line where they have little sports outfits and sports equipment, and I don't know, I feel like that's more kid focused, and it still feels like that is better composed than what they're doing for Sonic Prime. Sonic Prime just feels like there's a lot of opportunities for them to make something bigger or more interesting or, more intricate, but it kind of just feels very simple and cheap.
Well, isn't that kind of what the boat is? The Knuckles Dread boat?
I suppose.
Like as a kid, I would have loved to have just gotten one of these things and put all the different Sonic Prime toys on it, and that would have been like going on sailing adventures and stuff. I don't know. I guess I would have had fun with it.
I don't think
back
the boat.
In the day.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm just looking for something more from that line of like, here's the weird multiverse style Sonic stuff, and we've got a bunch of crazy posable characters, and it does all sorts of stuff. And then I look at it as like, this is fine, I guess. The boat's fine. Like, I like the detail in the sails, that it has the deck that you can open up. It's
honestly,
fine.
Looking at the other action figures, the only one that really kind of catches my eye is Rusty.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, Sonic and Tails just don't look all that good, but Rusty at least has some, like, I don't know, worn paint and stuff. The materials look nicer, I guess.
That's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, even if you just look at the promotional pics that are attached to this, even then, like, Sonic's legs aren't aligned properly. They're just sort of out at a weird angle, and, like, can you make him stand? Can you actually do that, or is he going to just tip over immediately?
So. I hate it when toys just keep falling over.
I have quite a few of the 2.5-inch line, and they tend to stand fine of it. The 3-pack, is that a 2-inch or is that the 5-inch?
These are 2.5-inch, or
okay,
yeah, something like that. I don't know. It seems it's fine, I guess. I guess I'm just looking for something more. I like Sonic Prime. These just aren't doing it for me.
I thought you liked Sonic Prime.
I do like Sonic Prime. These toys just aren't doing it for me. Like,
I thought you said like Sonic Prime.
No.
Misheard you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, are you ready to pay more for games?
No. I've been
Too
doing
bad.
my best to avoid paying $70 for games, and I plan on trying to stick with that for as long as possible, although I don't know what I'm going to do when Spider-Man 2 drops.
You're going to pay $70 for Spider-Man 2. That's what you're going to do.
That, or maybe it'll be a Christmas gift or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe I can just hold firm and just ignore it.
But
somehow.
Yeah, so this got a lot of emotional reaction out of people whenever this. I will heavily air quote the word news in front of it, but in a recent investor Q&A question mark, Sega kind of basically Sega was asked point blank, "Hey, are you gonna start increasing the prices of games?" And Sega was like, "Yeah, we're investigating it. We're thinking about it." So that number one, profoundly non-committal. Response to it, but at the same time, like,
it's not a no.
The industry is moving towards that. Tears of the Kingdom is $70. Now you can make the argument of like, well, you can use the vouchers, and
that's what I did.
And you could justify it as, well, they have to use the bigger card for it, and that's maybe why it's more expensive. But like every other game publisher is already moving towards the $70 standard, and it's
insane considering they're trying to sell so much on digital now, and digital costing the same as physical. It really grinds my gears, so to
Yeah, it's
speak.
nonsense, and the only reason why, like, as I understand, the primary reason why they do it is because like
retailers
they need to keep the prices the
Yeah.
same, not piss off retailers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why Nintendo has like a buyer program of, hey, we will give you money back if you buy it digitally. And a $60 game usually nets you like $5 of credit or something if you buy it
Which, to
digitally.
be fair, is more than what Sony and Microsoft do. Although Microsoft, I don't even buy games anymore because of Game Pass.
Yeah. But yeah, it's let me be blunt. Games are cheaper now than they ever have been, and I know saying that doesn't make immediate mathematical sense, but when you account for inflation, games at $60 are fairly cheap compared to almost every other point in development history. It's the kind of thing where you kind of had to expect this to break at some point. It's just the nature of the cost of things, because the only other alternative is they would have to continue to sell more and more and more copies for every game. Every game becomes a bigger and
another
bigger
big
risk.
issue is that game costs are just getting out of control with a lot of these publishers. Like the new Spider-Man game, I think that like has a budget of like $200 million, which is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
Like,
getting out of hand, and it's like the graphics aren't even getting much better. And
like
I never asked for ray tracing. I never wanted ray tracing. I can't really tell that much of a difference between a game that is, regular lighting or non-ray tracing. To be honest,
it would seem to me that the solution to all this would be to either like try to limit the insane budgets of your games, and maybe not make them these like these ultra realistic cinematic masterpieces, or maybe like, I don't know, start going the digital only approach more often so that you can price the game lower, because that's what Alan Wake 2 is doing.
Yeah, I was
you're at the
actually about to.
technological level where it's more about what you do with the art of your game than making it as photorealistic as possible. I
Well,
mean,
so
if you look at the movies nowadays, they are going toward much more of an artsy and cartoony style on CGI animation versus like when they did that Final Fantasy movie way back when, and they're trying to make it ultra realistic looking.
So I will push back on that, because Disney still invests quite a lot in realistic animation, be it everything that they're doing for The Little Mermaid, or everything that they did for The Lion King, or everything
Marvel,
that they
Star
do for
Wars.
every Marvel and Star Wars movie. As
That's a different kind of thing. Yeah,
and like, yes, I agree with you to an extent, but I also think that that type of photorealistic art style is something that really plays harder to a mass market more than that. Like, I love when a game looks cartoony, but I also kind of acknowledge that that does limit what kinds of people you can sell it to. Whereas this other format of style isn't as limited, because it's also just the audience that you have to deal with. I also just kind of feel like, personally, I just kind of feel like whether you go digital or not, this changeover was just going to be inevitable, and the reactions to it are very much in alignment with how well do you guys remember whenever we switched from 50 to 60?
I remembered it pretty well, and people weren't happy about it then
No.
either. Although personally, I was more okay with it because, like, you know, games were like getting massively more advanced visually. You know, with these
and
like super high
the
def
whole digital
visuals
thing wasn't
and all
really
that.
as in effect back then.
But
And $60 wasn't that far removed from the $50 price tag, or what games were priced just 10 years ago if you bought them on anything that was on a cartridge.
But then we were also dealing with things like EA, or not, was it EA? I think it was EA that had Project $10, or it was Warner, one of those two, where it was like, we're going to give you some DLC, and if you didn't buy the game new, well, you're going to have to pay $10 for it, and just trying to find ways to inch a little bits of money out. Like, even SEGA, in their normal, we'll say, release patterns, always have a digital deluxe version, even if it doesn't make a lot of sense. And it's $10 more to get $10 additional content just to get that bit more of content. Now, a lot of companies do this, but Sega has been so consistent with it that it kind of tells you where they're really expecting those games to be, especially with something like Lost Judgment, where some of the things that they lock behind it are, these are the dates that you get to go on, and that's not a small part of the Yakuza series.
Yeah. But as I don't know, as I see it, we never really got a proper price cut when the digital transition really started getting going. And like, I don't know, I just don't think $70 is generally worth it yet. And if Sega wants to do that, then their game better be really freaking good. Like,
now
it better like have a clearly high budget and clearly like strong game design. Like, Sonic Frontiers is not a game that can get away with $70.
No, it can't.
Like,
well,
they're gonna have to make the next Sonic game way better than that if they want to price it at $70. Once you hit $70, you're getting really close to 100.
I agree. I think it also makes it, harder out of the reach, because we know that for the longest time, and I kind of want to highlight this to begin with, is Sega has broadly been pretty good about diversifying the cost of their games. So they're not they never at any point said, no, we're going to make $70 games. It's that they are, trying to figure out what price is going to make sense for this. There probably would have been a time where they would have charged $30 for Sonic Origins, but they launched the game at $40, which is...
Yeah, I was not too happy about that either.
There were a lot of people who were not especially happy. I got $40 of value out of it, and will continue to get plenty of value out of it, but, I understand the sensitivity to...
We're upset about $40 on Sonic Forces.
But
I mean, it's a large enough game, I think, that justify that price. But then again, I come from the era of the Atari 2600, where you'd pay $50 for Fall.
But But yeah, like in terms of retail games, for like at least a decade now, Sega has had $40 games, $50 games, and $60 games. So
Samba is launching at $40.
Yeah.
Now I'm
getting the $50 digital deluxe package because I want that DLC, and it's actually worth it.
They're absolutely going to upsell you, but they're going to have, like what, 150 songs? 50? No, it's like 50 songs, right?
Something like 40 songs. 60, and I would have paid for it.
Okay, yeah. So they're it's at least launching at a lower price. Sega is, broadly speaking, good at diversifying what they go into. They are generally good at doing that with Sonic, but as of late, question mark. There hasn't been that. Yeah, there hasn't been. A lot of
their Sonic games have usually been $40 or $50. Like Sonic Generations launched at $50.
Yeah, Sonic Forces launched at like $50, didn't it?
No, it launched 40.
Oh, okay, yes.
The Team Sonic Racing.
Team Sonic Racing, I think, was 40 as well.
Yeah. Sonic Frontiers was like our first $60 Sonic game in a while.
I feel like it would be difficult for them to move Sonic out of that price range. I think they could reasonably move something like Yakuza to the $70 point. That seems like something
Yakuza edged up in a manner which made sense because those were kind of big budget games, even though they used the same assets
Yeah.
quite often, but mainly
If
paying for voice
Yakuza
cast.
like
But
has full English,
they felt like big budget games, even though they were coming out at 40 for a while. But then they went up to 60 because they were launching simultaneously with the ones that we have here. So yeah, I could see something like Yakuza or Judgment being 70.
or maybe they're a fabled Super game.
Or yeah, the super game. Yep. But I can't see a world in which they charge 70 for the next 2-point whatever game, whatever it will be.
2-Point Hospital.
Well, 2-point hospital, 2-point campus, 2-point whatever comes next.
2-Point Carnival games.
Oh God.
You never know. I mean, I recently got from GameFly Justice League Cosmic something or other, and it's like it looks like a low budget, kiddie type game, but it had good reviews, so I thought I'd check it out. It retails for $50, and this, when you look at the game and how it operates and everything, it looks like it was an indie game for like $20 or so.
Oof.
But you never know.
So
Anyway,
I think what we can all agree on is $70 Angry Birds.
yes, exactly. So long as they give red feet.
It depends on whether he's in the the Meta VR universe or not, I suppose.
So Sega is also interested in making more movies, which this isn't really news, but everyone treats it as news, so I guess we're treating it as news. We know that like the Streets of Rage movie has been in development for a while, I think, and now like the John Wick people are attached.
Yakuza has been sort of in development forever. I forget.
Like compared to Sonic, Yakuza and Streets of Rage, I think, are way better fits for like an actual movie series. So like,
I guess. Yeah.
I guess that's something. But yeah, this came out like an investor Q&A from Sega Sammy CEO Haruki Satomi.
You could do a really, really stupid 80s pastiche for Streets of Rage. There are so many bad, like, martial arts against street thugs set of movies in the 80s. Like, you can't throw a rock without hitting one.
Well, that's basically what Streets of Rage is.
Yeah! Streets of Rage is basically just the continuation of the 80s fear of street punks in Los Angeles.
But apparently back in August, Sega announced they were exploring adaptations of Space Channel 5 and Comic Zone. So
I get
Comic Zone I don't get.
You'd have
Comic Zone could be very interesting.
It could be. I don't think it would ultimately yield a good movie. I don't know who I would trust to actually make a Comic Zone movie beyond the premise, but also at the same time, my thought process is, well, friggin' all Comic Zone is man gets sucked into comics. Like, there's
like,
not
enough.
Make
that the whole look of the movie.
Yeah, don't frickin' pay Sega. Just make a movie about a man getting sucked into the comics. Like, I was gonna say Last Action Hero, but that would be the reverse. Like, you don't need to pay Sega to make your comic book isekai. Like, you just don't.
And also, in other news, Aegis CWA is holding its union election on June 16th. Now, as I understand it, there was the choice of Sega voluntarily recognizing the union, which would have eliminated the need for a vote, but they've not voluntarily recognized it, so there's going to be a vote, and assuming it passes, then the union will be formed, and then they will negotiate their first contract with Sega. So we should, I guess, know in about 2.5 weeks.
It's, I mean, it would be nice. It would have also been nicer if they voluntarily recognized and didn't need the vote, but that's also not the world we live in.
Yeah. And, so that I guess I'm driving the podcast at the moment. The Sonic Symphony World Tour also starts this September.
Is it?
Um,
Is it actually?
what? Yeah, it's starting this September.
Is it really though? Because I see it being called a world tour, and then I notice so what are the cities it's coming to? It's certainly coming to
Los Angeles and London.
Oh yeah, it's the two cities in the world. Perfect.
Yeah.
These okay. Well, you know that these are just the first two cities, right?
I do, but it seems so stupid to only announce those two cities and calling it a world tour. Like, friggin' announce, hey, we're thinking of further cities, or like, hey, I don't know, announce more. Get more venues together before you announce a world tour, and then say, these two cities.
I don't really see the reason for the drama. But
I
regardless,
don't think it's drama. I think it's
starts-
just stupid. Like,
it starts in September. It's going to be continuing into 2024.
you cannot get tickets. Tickets are gone.
No, you cannot. They got sold out. Like there was actually like a bit of a controversy where the London venue like let people who were part of their club buy their tickets a day early.
Yeah.
And so when the people who signed up for the newsletter got their chance, like half the seats were already gone. And then by the time they were opening up the general public, I think they just lasted a few hours and then they were also just gone.
So, important question. Do you think that some of those tickets will find their way onto the resellers market?
I hope not. Like, I wouldn't really peg this Sonic Symphony as something that would be a target for scalpers, but
But
then
they
again,
only
Sonic is
announced
getting big,
but they only
so-
announced 2 shows. So, you know, if
there
you
will
want to
be
go
more shows.
But they didn't announce but that's the problem. They didn't announce like whenever you fail to announce that like actual examples of additional shows, then you create a false sense of like demand or scarcity of this type of thing, and it just breeds the scalping culture. Like, it's just I'm not saying that they had to pin down specific dates and times, but I think they should at least, like, you know, say, hey, we are also thinking about this city and this now admittedly maybe the ink isn't dry on that, but then also I don't know, get the ink dry on a lot more venues before you announce a worldwide symphony and then announce 2 locations.
I don't know. My expectation is they probably had to announce it around now to, I don't know, give people time to plan their trips or whatever. But I don't know. I just hope that there's an East Coast, some nice convenient East Coast shows for me, because I have some interest in going, and if there's one that's close enough to me, maybe I will. I don't know.
I'll be busy in September. I won't be able to go see the Sonic Symphony in
Well,
Los
it won't
Angeles.
just be September. I expect these will be in like October and November and January.
Oh, I bet we're not getting any more this year. If they only announced 2 so far, then I'm guessing any further will be next year.
All right.
September's pretty late, man. I will be going to go see Baby Metal and Death Clock and having a good time.
Neat. I will be watching Sonic Underground on its new DVD series set.
Sonic Underground's back, baby! The Sonic animated
Yay!
series we were all waiting for.
The best
Yeah.
Sonic cartoon.
I think that DVD set is buried underground.
Oh no, you
Oh,
gotta
wow.
buy it so that you can like preserve it.
What I learned this week is that I'm the only one of us in the 3 that actually has the original set on DVD.
Yeah, I've never seen the need to get it on DVD because
You're like, I don't want Sonic Prime. I'd rather watch Sonic Underground instead.
I need to hear Jaleel White and his sister Jaleel White and his brother Jaleel White all have the same voice actor and have alternate singing voices that none of them are Jaleel White.
Thank God, because I cannot imagine Jaleel like Sonya singing. Because my God, um,
Yeah.
but like Sonic Underground, like I do have nostalgia for it because I watched that thing and when I was an older kid and I got to it had like animated Knuckles for the first time. I don't know, like it's just a series that I remember and have some fun memories of. Even though yes, it was not very good, but like I don't know, this complete series DVD set is cheap enough that I might just go ahead and buy it. It's a little weird to me that they're not putting this on a Blu-ray like the other
Well,
Sonic shows. Like
well,
That's the best
Adventures
part
of Sonic
of
the Hedgehog, had a
well.
Blu-ray release, still an SD, but regardless.
So SD on Blu-ray tends to be something that Discotech is really the only group that's doing anything with, and this is not going to be a Discotech release. This is going to be through. What was the group? Help me out here.
N-Circle.
N-Circle. And N-Circle were the group who I believe also put out the Sonic Boom DVDs and Blu-rays in the US. So it's kind of like different groups having different, I don't know, priorities for this kind of stuff. I suspect maybe this wasn't going to be a high priority for Discotech compared to like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic X based on some of their output. I would be more inclined to think that if Discotech was doing another Sonic project for releases, oh boy, I would...
Sonic OVA and Sonic Satam both need re-releases.
Yeah, those would be the ones that I would probably point to first. There's a lot of opportunity for those, and those seem closer to their wheelhouse.
Like, like Sonic Underground, I'm glad it's getting reprinted. I think we seem to be just entering like a golden age of Sonic games, of Sonic shows on physical media again at the same time. But it's kind of wild to me that the OVA and especially Sonic Satam have not gotten any kind of re-release during all this stuff.
Yeah, I maybe Sega is trying to, if you really want to get conspiracy theory here, and have me, you know, rile up the Archie psychos, I might go and say maybe Sega is trying to. Maybe Sega's trying to bury Sonic Sat-Am. Maybe they don't want you to have Sonic Sat-Am, and they don't want you to have...
You can literally watch Sonic Sat-Am on, like, multiple streaming services.
I know, but... I know, and you know that, and I know that, but it doesn't help my chance to rile up the weirdos that can't accept that Archie's gone.
But regardless, I do just hope that those last two things finally get their release, and then we can just own all the Sonic media and fresh new sets.
I would kill for an actual, like, legit or either HD or 4K up-res of Sonic OVA. That'd be so good.
Yeah, man.
Especially if they included, like, both language options. Man.
Get that out, release it with, like, an extra soundtrack CD, and you're just golden. Like, I would get that.
Oh, 100%. I would get that, and I own every Sonic series on Blu-ray/DVD.
I actually own the Sonic OVA and DVD twice.
I almost did. One of them was a bootleg. I was not smart enough to know that it was a bootleg at the time.
But regardless, neat that Underground is coming.
As someone who likes preserving media, yes, that is good. As someone who has watched some or all of Sonic Underground, I forget which, nobody actually needs Sonic Underground. Sonic Underground is if you have nostalgia for Sonic Underground, it's probably for an era and not actually what Sonic Underground is.
Yeah.
But a lot of people have nostalgia for Minecraft. And
Yeah,
Minecraft
my
is coming
God,
back
that's
to
been around for a while.
Yeah, Sonic's coming back. Sonic's back, baby. He's back in Sonic Underground, and he's back in Minecraft. He's just not coming back in a Symphony World Tour. Only 2 shows. No, there's a new Sonic Minecraft texture pack coming out from the same group who did the original Sonic DLC. I think it was just called like DLC or something.
Yeah.
This one is just a straight up texture pack though. This is not a like series of like, oh, we rebuilt a lot of these Sonic stages and have special mechanics. No, this is a full skin that
your Sonic fan character inside of a Minecraft game, basically.
kind of sorta, but like it does a lot of things. Like it changes how some of the elemental blocks look. It changes some of the mobs in the game to like badniks or chow or small animals or stuff like
Ooh,
that.
does that mean you can kill Chow?
Maybe you can't.
Neat.
I don't. I think chow replaced bees. If I know.
Really?
I
So what?
think
The
so.
cows sting you?
I don't know. I don't know how bees work in Minecraft. I actually know very little about Minecraft, but they hold a ring as they go, and I think that's the same thing that bees do whenever bees do something, so
Huh.
I don't know. I don't know a lot about Minecraft. I hope to. I hope to stream a bunch of this.
Minecraft in, like,
Neither
5
do I,
years,
but I look forward
and
to your
it's changed a lot
almost
since I
every
used to play
Sonic.
it.
Live vicariously through me and my playing of it, I don't know, eventually. I need to get Refon to explain Minecraft to me, but it'll also be different Minecraft than he plays because it'll be Bedrock Edition. But something has a new Bedrock, and it's Sonic Triple Trouble.
Yes!
Yeah,
This
speaking
update
of
has
things
been
I played
developing
very
for
recently now.
months, and it's finally out. And like, so we got a final update that adds a new special stage, some new bits to the true ending cutscene for Sonic, and Knuckles gets a new boss in his final boss rush, among other things. And
This released alongside ports to Mac and Android, which Shigs, you've played the Android port recently.
Yeah.
So this is like Noah essentially finishing this 5-year project.
Mhm. It's a real good game. It's a really good game.
And I haven't had a chance to play it yet, to play this update yet, but this just gives me an excuse to, go back to it and check out the new content. There's also like speed gates in every second act now that for speed runners. That like you have to get, it's like a special shortcut that closes after a certain amount of time. And there's also some like basic quality of life improvements, like you can skip the credits and the versus mode cutscenes now. And you guys remember like that on Atomic Destroyer, that elevator from hell
Yeah.
with the crushing spikes. That has automatic checkpoints now.
I can't remember if I actually had trouble with that or not.
Well, everyone else did, including myself, which is why Noah said, yeah, it was more difficult than that was supposed to be, so I just threw in 4 invisible checkpoints, so you don't have to, like, completely redo the whole thing every single time.
So yeah, if you're looking for an excuse to go back to it, apparently the save is cross-compatible, so you won't lose your save file if you download the latest version.
Unless you're on Steam Deck, probably, because I've never gotten my save to transfer on that.
Fair enough. But I think the thing I just most importantly want to highlight is it's so good! This game is so good!
Also, he's given us an official release of the soundtrack.
Yes!
Which should be good for you and your little streaming thing.
I would probably try to ask for permission.
We technically asked for permission already, and he said sure, but I can ask. He was supposed to send us the soundtrack, and he never did.
Well, now the soundtrack's just available, so
yeah, I can ask him again if you want me to. But regardless, yes,
maybe I might take you up on that. Yeah, it's probably a good excuse to just, if you've already played it, jump back in, play it again. If you haven't played it yet, then man, go play this game. Like the fact that I struggle to sort of place it in relation to how I feel about this game and media should probably tell you exactly how I feel about this game.
It's just legit is one of my favorite Sonic games, just period. Just removing all qualifications, including what I would normally give for a fan game. Like, it's just one of the best Sonic games I've ever played, and this seems to make it at least a little bit better. Now, so you can download it on the Game Jolt page. Just Google it, you'll find it. You can find the soundtrack on the game's official website. We have links to all this stuff on our front page at the moment.
Yep.
And one final thing to note about this is that Noah is going to be working on an original game after this.
I know. I am excited to see whatever it will be.
Yes, because he is clearly very good at this.
Yes.
I'm playing it right now.
Although, who knows how long it will take, considering the length of this project.
Hopefully he'll Kickstarter it and maybe, I don't know, he'll be able to just work on it full time.
That would be nice, although I also remember what happened with, what's it called?
The skeleton thing from Headcanon.
Yeah, the Headcanon project.
Yeah, I do remember that. Games are expensive, but maybe if you can also use this to, get a publisher on board with him, having this hugely successful fan game that's had 170,000 downloads has got to be worth something to a publisher, right?
We are in a golden era of games that appear in Sonic Sage, Sonic Amateur Games Expo, making their way to Steam. That it's become a legit thing. I have on my Steam wish list that I've kept meaning to get Chessplosion, and we've kind of seen how Pizza Tower has blown up. Pizza Tower has become a thing. I'm waiting for that
to go on sale, and then I'm snapping that up.
I'm waiting for time. Maybe that's my game after Xenoblade. Maybe Pizza Tower will be after Xenoblade. I think that'd be a good choice.
Yeah, maybe. One final thing is that so Android 32-bit users are apparently having some issues with it, and so he's working on one final smaller patch that has some additional bug fixes, and also apparently will hopefully fix Android 32-bit compatibility. So so still some minor tweaks being made, but yeah, he's ready to move on to his original game, and I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of people will be much more capable of buying than normally.
Ooh, yes, including me.
Yeah, you're not someone who you own some amount of first four figure statues, but
yes, I own two.
But the issue tends to be first four figure statues are quite often prohibitively expensive, in the range of $300 to $400.
Yeah.
But they're making one that isn't.
Yeah, it technically has a base value of $90.
Yeah.
And you can get the better edition for $120. And okay, the best edition is 300 something, but regardless, this new Sonic Adventure statue that they've just revealed a few days ago, or put up for pre-order, it looks cool, it's affordable, and the cheaper version is actually worth getting. Just looks that cool. There's a base edition that's just Sonic doing the adventure pose on the Sonic Adventure logo. Looks very nice, made out of PVC. And then there's a version that's called the Collector's Edition, which sits on a light-up base, where the LED will either be static or animated. And that's actually pretty decently priced, and I think I'm going to buy it. I'm very tempted.
Yeah, 120 US is very impressive for a first four figures thing. I do have a first four figures thing, and I got it from a swap meet of that's a Sonic with hitting the goalpost, but I think it's one of those where it was also one of the more inexpensive ones of its type. But yeah, that price is amazing. Now, I I don't think the one with the light up ring is the one where the light up ring can illuminate and go at rapid speed.
So
if I'm not
that is the
correct.
most expensive version of it, which is
Yeah, the
multiple
most
hundred
expensive
versions.
one, the base light is static, and it has this PVC ring that goes around Sonic, and that can be animated, and that is for $300. Although currently it has an early bird price of $280. That's also pretty cool looking, but I don't think I need that.
Yeah, or what? Yeah, for something that's twice as much and all it does is the lights move around. That seems a little pricey just for that particular improvement, unless it makes sound too.
Welcome to the world of first four statues.
Yeah, I've got to imagine that it's a combination of, like the light is animated, so that's probably more expensive to do. But on top of that, it's a limited edition statue. There's only going to be a certain number made, and they're trying to they're using that to kind of justify the higher price. Like, it's limited edition, so there's fewer of them, so it's artificial scarcity, and therefore it's worth more. That's generally how they've operated in general. Like, this is the first time where they've only done with one edition of the statue, as far as I can remember.
Yeah, I mean, It sure is that Sonic Adventure Sonic. Like, it even looks... It doesn't look like modern Sonic. It looks like that specific style of Sonic doing that iconic, nonsensical pose of wrapping his arm under his leg for some reason. But if you really like Sonic Adventure, then, yeah. I won't be getting it, but it seems like a cool thing for people who aren't me.
Yeah, I might have room for it, so I don't know. Like, I'm seriously considering it.
The biggest the reason why I will probably never get another Sonic statue is just because I got the big one from the Sonic Mania launch special edition, the one where he's standing on the Genesis, and I'm still pretty happy with that.
Right now.
I do have that, although I don't have it in my house.
Like I said, I do have another first four figure Sonic statue, and I have the Tails statue that they put out at GameStop a while back, so kind of satisfied for now, I think.
I'm trying to buy less things that go on shelves.
Smart. I've been doing that. I've been doing that for years because of the lack of shelf space.
I've just been buying more shelves.
I've owned shelves, so of course I'm getting stuff to go on it.
I just spent like $150 on doll stands for plush toys between Build-A-Bear and Joann Fabrics, but by God, all of my Build-A-Bear can stand upright.
Oh, hey, Sonic and Tails will be joining the Flying Heroes line, so it looks like you'll be able to have a little remote-controlled Tails carrying Sonic toy.
I don't need that. I don't need that.
Are you sure? It looks pretty cute.
I don't need it.
It's Tails carrying Sonic through the air, and you can control it.
To quote a SpongeBob episode, I don't need it.
So we're almost at the end of the night.
But hey, we're almost to hey, Samba de Amigos next month, isn't it?
No, it is not, because it thankfully got delayed out of Sonic's freaking birthday month.
Yeah, there's
to the end of August.
Now, like, we had some sort of vague date, but they never really fully committed to that original date.
Well,
I would say
I think the date was June 30th.
It was something like that, but the only place where I really ever saw that date was on the Nintendo eShop page. Like, as, you know, best possible information that we have with it being a Nintendo exclusive and all. But, yeah, now it's August 29th, and as do all major SEGA games, it has a digital deluxe edition for $10 more.
Yep. And this will be coming with 2 music packs, one featuring Sonic, one featuring SEGA music, as well as a costume pack. And what I love about all this is that it's kind of like a big old Sonic Team crossover, because the costumes include
Sonic, Tails, one of those little aliens from
My
Space Channel
favorite
5.
Sonic Team game, Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Well,
The Sonic
I
Team
mean-
game's doing a Sonic Team crossover? Is that what you're
well,
saying?
Puyo Puyo and Space Channel 5 are both technically Sonic Team games now, is my
Yeah.
point. So only Super Monkey Ball is the exception in the terms of the
It's a
costume
Sonic
pack.
Team pack for crossovers with games that aren't from Sonic Team.
But yeah, and as well as like Samba de Amigo wearing an II costume, which is weird, and also Puyo Puyo.
And it has
And then
it has music from Bakamatai Taxi Driver Edition from the Yakuza series, my favorite Sonic Team game.
as well as Go Go Cheer Girl from Space Channel 5 Part 2.
And Rhythm Thief.
And the Rhythm Thief theme.
Yeah, which is
from-
another great Sonic Team game.
That was made by members of Sonic Team.
I know it was made by members of Sonic Team, but it doesn't say Sonic Team on the box. Dang it. It's not a Sonic Team pack. You're making this up in your head, Alex.
And for Sonic, we've got Open Your Heart.
Ugh.
Awesome. Reach
No.
for the Stars. And I'm Here. Awesome.
The only good Sonic song in that group for a Samba de Amigo game is Reach for the Stars.
Reach for the Stars Recolors is also pretty cool. Yeah.
It's good, but
I'm
Open
gonna love doing it. Open Your Heart in this.
Open Your Heart is no, that has no spirit of Samba de Amigo. I'm Here is like a negative. Why?
I'm here. Do. I'm just doing this. I don't know, shaking the maracas.
Oh, that's yeah. Now, like the other ones are solid choices. Like Rhythm Thief theme is an absolutely phenomenal choice for something
the
like
SEGA
this.
music pack must go well with this, I think. Like Bakamatai including.
They
I
need
think.
Scotcha-cha from Sonic Rush. That would be a perfect
Yes.
matchup.
Yeah, I'm
for
here for
Sonic.
that. I'm here for like
Sonic Mania.
anything from Sonic Mania that you want to put in there. Any of those would go great with it. But like these are bad choices for Sonic music. Like there are way better choices for Sonic music for the type of music that goes into a Samba de Amigo game.
Well, hey, there'll be more DLC packs.
But there probably won't be another DLC Sonic pack. Like,
Oh, there's gotta be more DLC for Sonic because Sega doesn't have
No.
to pay for most of those.
well, they still kind of do. They still have to pay rights. They just don't have to pay as much in the way of rights. Or
Now, I
something.
am kind of with you on something you told me on Discord, in that I do feel a little mixed on like the actual music choice for this game. Like, there's definitely a bunch that I think work, like The Cup of Life and Macarena, and let's see,
The
Other Sonic Team games.
yeah.
like these are just the main songs from the game that we're talking about now.
You're looking for songs that would make sense with maracas, but there are some songs in there that, unless they thoroughly, like, cover them thoroughly in a completely different musical style, probably would not fit.
I think what we're looking at, one thing that Sega has made clear from the get-go is that this isn't just going to be Latin music. This is also going to be pop music and EDM. Like, that was in the initial press release, and so I've got to imagine that the game is kind of being designed with those kinds of songs in mind as well.
But even if you do it, though, like, you still have to pick something that would go good with, maracas.
For me,
The instrument of the game. Like, you would not go into Rock Band saying, well, this one requires a theremin, and we're going to represent that with the guitar.
For me, I am disappointed that there's no Samba de Janeiro, though. At least not so far.
Yeah, maybe they will. It seems like it's the obvious choice. They put Samba de Janeiro in, like, the Sega racing games to represent Samba de Amigo.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's just assumed that it would be in there and they can't really, I don't know.
But on the whole, I am looking forward to this. I think there was even a hands-on preview recently that was pretty positive about it.
I hope, like,
From Polygon.
So this one, I think what makes this one different than the Wii one is that this one does have button controls if you want them, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't think the Wii one did. The Wii one was...
The Wii one did not. Mostly because, like, the Wii didn't have enough buttons to have a button mode.
Also, the
Like-
Wii one was made by Gearbox, and Gearbox sure is a company, the more we hear about them.
Yeah. But out of all
Yeah.
of the versions, this is the one I'm getting the Switch version on, just because that'll be the one with the Joy-Con.
You mean the
Switch
only
exclusive,
version? Yeah, it's a good thing you're getting the Switch version, Jason, because you're not getting any other version.
I'm sorry, I thought they were doing HD versions.
No, that Switch is the only version. It was only announced for Switch.
And Switch is HD, by the way.
Yeah.
But the Joy-Cons are way better motion controls than the Wii. And like on top of that, yes, the Switch also like has enough buttons to do proper button controls for Samba de Amigo. Like the Joy-Cons are actually like perfectly designed for both styles of this game, because in the Dreamcast version, the button controls involved hitting the Y, B, and A buttons for one side, and then up, left, and down on the D-pad for the other side. And like on the Joy-Con, those are just all buttons. So yeah.
Where can I buy maraca shells for my Joy-Cons?
You can probably get them 3D printed.
I can get them through. Can I go onto AliExpress and buy 422 maraca things that I will then sell in a dollar store? Because I cannot sell them anywhere else.
Probably not. No.
Dang.
So I'm looking at like a complete list of all the songs right now, and this is gonna have from Sega Macarena La Bamba. I'm probably pronouncing this incorrectly. Fugue, Scent of Your Sweet Love, Let's Find It and Shake It, Chosen Mask, and Wedding March.
Okay. Sure.
All
Most of
from
those are
Sega.
fine. Most of those are fine. I could use less Steve Aoki on this, but sure.
He's only credited on one song, I think.
Yeah, but that's one song too many. I need fewer crypto tech bros that did bullcrap concerts in the air quotes metaverse, which apparently the metaverse is Sonic Generations assets.
Oh my god, I remember that.
God.
That
so
concert will
embarrassing.
haunt me forever. So
How
freaking
much of
stupid.
it did you watch?
Oh, but enough that I saw actual technical problems with the thing that they had, because basically they had characters that just sort of popped in from nowhere, that just sort of spawned wrong.
Remember,
There was a
seeing
point in which Sonic like clipped through some stuff as he jumped off a stage and then just vanished into nothing. It was friggin' miserable. It was a miserable thing, and it was hilarious. And Sega are fools for letting that happen. It's delicious but bad.
Well, regardless,
I think it's time to
guess
wrap
we're-
up then. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's wrap
I
up.
think we're done here.
Yep. Hey, if you've been wondering, like, hey, why haven't you had one of these in a while? We do have one that's up on YouTube now. It took a while to get out. It's episode 98. I am on it somewhat, but also, most importantly, we have Evil Dr. Reef, my good friend, on it in my
Who's
stead.
suitably evil on the show.
Oh, I wish I had half the charisma of that man. He is a very good friend and a very good host of things. But also, we have stuff coming up next month, and expect some announcements soon in regard to, like, hey, what is our video content plan going forward? If you've noticed things that, stuff that you like us doing on the Twitch and YouTube that hasn't been happening, it's gonna happen again. It's just been, a lot of stuff has needed to be reorganized and cleaned up and rearranged.
You have been developing like brand new features for these things.
I have like text files on text files on text files on graphics overlays, whatever have you. Not everything's going to get an update, but like a lot of things are going to. I'm very excited to announce some stuff that we're going to have in the near future. We're definitely going to have, let me put it this way. None of us know, like legitimately, none of us know what the heck is happening next month, save for the things that have already been announced publicly. But number one, we could kind of expect, there's probably going to be something that happens, whether it's going to be associated with Jeff Keighley or associated with a new Sonic Central, or just, the 2 DLCs that we know will be coming out and will be a major deal in the community. So, stick with us. Go follow us on Twitter. Go check out the old website and the new website. When I say that, I guess I mean the new part of the message, whatever. You can find it. You go to the website, and then maybe go to the message boards, and you'll see we have new message board stuff that we're also reporting news there. It's going to be cool, and it's going to be a lot, and we're all going to be incredibly tired.
Yes, we are. This is going to be interesting.
Anything else that you want to plug, Alex?
No, not at the moment. I do hope to start stepping up my own streaming stuff soon.
Jason, anything you would like to plug for either the past or the future?
Let me see. I might be heading out to the Sonic Revolution convention coming out next month, so you might see me there. As far as anything else goes, I have this Discord finally working right on my app, so I'll be able to check in more often with on news reports and that. So hopefully you'll be hearing more from me in the upcoming days.
Cool. And if you want to, I don't know, bug me and tell me how big of an idiot I am, you can go to sonicstadium.org, and we should have a Discord link there. That will take you to the Discord, where I always am.
Everyone calls GX stupid.
I'm only benefited by the fact that we have low viewer numbers for this. That I will never make jokes about viewer numbers, but I will make that joke about viewer numbers. I am safe. Watch this be the most.
Harass you and nothing will happen.
Watch this be the most viewed episode, and then I just get a torrent of harassment on there. It's like I heard that you don't like Sonic Sat-Am. And then I get to say, but I do like Sonic Sat-Am. That wasn't my point on the episode. You said you hated Sonic Sat-Am. Fun times.
Well, I'm glad you don't hate Sonic Sat-Am.
Maybe I will, to preserve the kayfabe. Maybe I will. So with that, hey, we're up, over, and gone until we see you next time. Whether it be, the end of next month or maybe somewhere in the middle? Maybe? Until then.
Yeah.
Peace.
Peace out.
See you later.
YouTube is ended.